Hey everyone, my name is Anas. I'm a second year medical student at Gandhi Medical College, Hyderabad. So NEET is only around 3 weeks away from now, and there are demands being made that it should be postponed because there's an ongoing pandemic. But it most probably won't be postponed because there's a Supreme Court ruling regarding that. So it's my sincere advice that you don't waste time watching news, debates, and other things that and fall into the argument of whether the exam should be postponed or no. See, whenever it might be conducted, one thing is certain that it will be conducted, right? You won't be entering into MBBS course without writing NEET. That is for certain. So, how well you are prepared for it matters a lot. And we don't know when this pandemic will go and when the vaccine and all will come. But that all that is not under your control, right? What is under your control is how well you prepare for the exam, which you eventually need to do. Right, so it's better you put your focus and energy and don't waste any time and give your best in the coming days till September 13th. So let's go to the main topic of this video, that is preparation advice for the coming days and some exam tips that you should follow on the day of examination. I'll tell you things based on my experience and what my teachers told me. Now I won't be giving you an exact schedule or a plan to follow in the coming days, because everyone has their own strengths and weaknesses and you need to plan according to that. But I'll tell you what things you should include in your schedule and what mistakes you should actively try to avoid. So let's start with preparation advice. Don't leave anything in your revision, but don't study anything new also. Since there is an ongoing pandemic, the paper setters won't give you a very tough paper. The paper level will be around easy to moderate. So when there is a relatively easy paper, what happens is that a student who has a general understanding of every chapter in the subject and can solve basic problems in every chapter takes an edge over someone who has revised a few topics, say in physics, in great depth. So don't leave anything in your revision. Having said that, you should not study something that's entirely new to you in the last few days. For example, let's assume that someone has left oscillations chapter in physics completely. If he tries to study that chapter afresh now, what will happen is he'll waste that crucial time in which he could have studied in which he could have revised other topics which he had already studied before and strengthen them further. This is the time to perfectly consolidate everything that you have already learned. So don't leave anything for revision, but don't study anything that's entirely new to you as well. Solve one mock test daily. The best way to revise a topic at this time is to test yourself on it and then make the corrections to the mistakes that you've made and understand the solutions to the problems you couldn't get. Here's a useful tip. When you're looking for a solution to a problem you couldn't get, try revising the concepts surrounding that problem also. For example, if you have got a problem on, say, critical angle and total internal reflection wrong, then when you're looking for a solution, try to revise and have a quick look on the concepts of lateral angle and prism also. This way, you'll cover a lot of portion by just correcting your mock test papers. Coming to exam advice. Now suppose you have done your preparation and tomorrow you have to write NEET. Keep the following things in mind. Have a lot of confidence when you enter the exam hall. Forget about how you used to perform in your tests or weekly exams or mock tests. Enter the exam hall with a belief and confidence that you are going to crack this exam. See, it is true that you won't score substantially more than what you used to in your mock tests, but you can get a 5 to 10% increase in your final score if you're confident enough when you're writing the exam. So the confidence factor can give you an extra 10% marks. And if you are on the borderline category, then these 10% marks can make all the difference. It can become a factor for your selection or your non-selection. But this confidence can break while you are writing the exam. For instance, if you find for first 5 to 10 questions in physics very hard, in such a scenario, don't lose hope and spend an ungodly amount of time on those few problems, because the next 35 problems are going to be very easy. The people who set the papers set it in a way where there are a few easy problems, a few moderate problems, and a very few hard problems. So if you encounter those hard problems right in the first few minutes of your exam, don't lose hope and confidence on that, because the next ones are going to be very easy. Go with your gut instinct when you're making a guess. See, after solving thousands of questions in the span of 2 to 3 years of preparation, you will develop an instinct to identify the correct option to a problem you know the concept to, but you couldn't find the solution because you made a mistake somewhere in the calculations or something. So when you find a problem like that whose answer you couldn't get, but you know the concept, and you feel that among the four options, option C might be correct. So at this time, I suggest you go with your gut and take that option instead of leaving it altogether, because 70% of the time that instinct is correct. Solve the final NEET paper in the same order that you've been doing in your mock tests and practice tests. See, if you've been doing first physics, then chemistry, then bio, don't deviate from this pattern in the exam hall. It's a general advice that you should not try anything new in the exam hall and stick with what you have been doing for the past 2 to 3 years. See, I don't need to say a lot about time management because you yourself have dealt with it in hundreds of tests that you've probably given till now. But it's such an important thing, such a vital thing when it comes to competitive exams, that I'll say it anyway. Say you have 3 hours and you need to make the best out of it. Don't get stuck on a particular MCQ for long. Come back to it after you finished your exam. Or if you feel that there won't be enough time to solve this problem after I finish my paper, then make an educated guess. Try to strike out 2 options that will most likely not be the answer, so you're left with 2 options. Now there is a 50% chance of picking the right answer even if you're making a guess. So strike out the most unlikely options and then go with your gut, if you feel that there won't be enough time in the end. Because ideally, you should come back after you finish your paper to solve those that you couldn't get. Empty your bowels beforehand. This will come under time management again. Don't eat heavy breakfast on that day because you can't waste time going to the washroom. I remember I made this mistake. On that day, my mom made very tasty breakfast, so I had my stomach full, and that caused me a few minutes in the exam. So don't make this mistake. See, these are the things I have said from knowledge and experience, but I have no knowledge of what it is to write an exam in the middle of a pandemic, how the centers are going to be, what new rules there will be placed, or what new instructions you have to follow. Maybe they'll call students hours before the actual exam in batches. No one knows exactly what they'll do as of now, but I'll say this: be smart, be vigilant, and follow all the instructions they say, and rock your exam.